Good afternoon. Welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news. The David Raya deal to Arsenal is done. Matt Turner has done his medicals with Nottingham Forest. We'll be talking about Juventus because they're turning away from Thomas Partey. They want to sign Sofian Amrabat after believing that Partey is very expensive and the deal is very hard today. 6 clubs have come in to sign Florian Balogun ahead of Inter Milan, West Ham, Palace, RB Leipzig, Monaco, and a couple of others as well are now interested in signing Florian Balogun, and looks like Inter Milan will have to up their price if they're going to take the US international. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. We're going to be diving into those Arsenal stories. But before we get into them, I would love to ask you a question in the comment box below. Now, the season has already started, and we're going to be doing our season predictions for the Arsenal this campaign. What I want you to do in the comment box below, I want you to predict where Arsenal will finish in the Premier League this season. I want you to predict our player of the season. I want you to predict our top scorer as well. Those are 3 positions that I want you to get involved with, because I will be getting your opinions in the predictions video. So I want player of the season, top scorer, and also where will Arsenal finish in the Premier League and also in the UEFA Champions League. Let me know in the comment box below. Let's dive into the latest around the club. So let us start off with that big story from Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein. Matt Turner has completed his move to Nottingham Forest, a £7 million deal that will be rising up to 10 million. Not a bad deal, actually. As compared to the way it was first reported, that Arsenal will be getting only 7 million. So it's going to be 7 million, rising up to 10 million. That's the deal that has been agreed between Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. And now, Arsenal are also now finalizing the deal to sign David Raya, according to David Ornstein. So what they wanted here, Arsenal, was to make sure that the domino effect was always going to happen. They wanted to make sure that if Matt Turner goes the other way, David Raya was a sure deal. So Arsenal were very, very careful and have been very careful not to let Matt Turner go before agreeing a deal with Brentford. So Arsenal now believe that since Matt Turner is gone, they can go on and finalize that deal for David Raya. This week, you will expect to see David Raya sign his contract, do his medicals. It's a 5-year deal, personal terms already in place. We expect much of that to be finalized, at least in this next 7 days. Now, Thomas Partey, there is some good news on this one. As Arsenal are now going to breathe, we have some breathing space. Juventus are turning to Sofian Amrabat as they feel this deal is a little bit difficult and a little bit undoable at the moment. Now, the problem with Juve is that they've always wanted to sign players they can't afford at the moment. I know Juve are a big club. They have the pull, they have the gravitational pull to attract a player like Thomas Partey. They do have that. They're such a big club. But the problem right now is that Arsenal are asking for in excess of 40 million euros, and they cannot afford that. I don't see Juventus go, tabling 40 million euros for a 30-year-old player. It's not gonna happen. And I also don't think that Juve are in a place to table anything above 40 million euros or 30 million euros actually for a player at the moment. Sofian Amrabat is a very good target. Now Man United are looking at him, so it's gonna be kind of a battle. Fiorentina will want about 30, maybe 35 million euros, but he's a doable deal. I think Juve do have a lot of influence in Italy. They can attract a player who's playing already in the league, but they can also have sign a player from a rival. We've seen it with Dusan Vlahovic. We've seen it with Manuel Locatelli and a couple of other players. They can easily go to a rival in Italy, in the Italian Serie A, and tell them, we want your best player, and that player will join them. Now, Thomas Partey, for me, according to what I saw in the Community Shield, he must be untouchable. Arsenal might do whatever they can. We must do whatever we can to keep Thomas Partey. Best player in midfield, at least for the next 2 years or for the next 1 season, because as Rice gets into that Arsenal mode, as Rice gets to understand the midfield, understand his role, Thomas Partey is going to be very key because he's been in the side. He understands the players, he understands the movements of Saka, he understands the movements of Martin Odegaard, and he's already formed those relationships and rapport with all these other players. You cannot let him go. We can't lose Xhaka and Partey in the same window. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't expect Thomas Partey to be at Arsenal, beyond this season. At the end of the season, I still expect Thomas Partey to leave, probably to Juve, then probably to Monaco, probably to any other club. But we must do whatever we can to keep Thomas Partey. And I think this should be at all costs. It shouldn't be because Juve cannot afford, because right now they're walking away because it's an expensive deal. It's a deal that doesn't make any sense for them. He's 30. They won't spend above 30 million on a 30-year-old. But what if another club comes in with 40, 45 million euros? Should Arsenal stay strong? In my opinion, that is exactly what we should do. The expectations for this season are going to be highlighted by your predictions in the comment box below. I really bet most of you are going to go fast second. And for us to do that, we will need our best players, and we will need players that do have the pedigree and the experience. Thomas Partey is exactly that. Now, the Florian Balogun incident, the Florian Balogun story is also moving on very, very quickly. It looks like Arsenal have already reached the point where they wanted. So initially, Arsenal wanted to negotiate with Inter Milan alone if Inter Milan were ready to offer around 50 to 55 million euros. But of course, that was never going to happen. With Inter Milan knowing that they were the only sharpshooters in the deal, they were always going to drag it on and drag it on and drag it on, try to frustrate us and try to compel us into agreeing to a lesser fee. So what Arsenal did, and this is very, very genius, we waited for competition. We waited for other clubs to come in the race because he's a good striker. He's one of the strikers that we actually can say in the next 3 years, you're going to be great. But this is what is happening now. 5 more clubs have entered the race to sign Florian Balogun, making Inter Milan the 6th club in the race. So the other clubs include Inter, West Ham, Palace, RB Leipzig, Monaco, and Lens from France. This works in our favor in this deal. I know Florian Balogun really doesn't want to be at Arsenal. I know he's really pissed about this whole shenanigan of being at Arsenal and all that. But the truth is, he must leave Arsenal, and Arsenal must get their right price. We are not obligated to sell him. We are actually obligated to get the best we can out of his sale. And this is Arsenal being savage. This is Arsenal being ruthless and biting the bullet. Now, you look at all these other clubs that are actually interested. Inter Milan, however much I think they're a little bit stingy, they do have the financial power because they've sold Andre Onana for 55 million euros and replaced him with a goalkeeper that has cost them only 5 million euros. So they still have 50 million euros on the table. They could use it to sign Florian Balogun. I'm not saying they don't have the financial firepower. All I'm saying is that they are not willing to splash the cash. West Ham, they have agreed a deal to sign 45 million euro deal to sign Edson Alvarez. Can you believe they're going to get one of the best defensive midfielders to replace Declan Rice for only 45 million euros? It's very, very good business. They're replacing their best player for half the price. Edson Alvarez, 25, 26 years of age, one of the best in that position. Trust me, you're going to see him next season. I'm not even lying here. So if they have signed Alvarez for 45 million euros and Arsenal gave them 105 million pounds, it means that they still have another 60 million pounds unspent. They do have the money, and I really think they need a striker. With Gianluca Scamacca now leaving to Atalanta, they will need a backup striker to Mikel Antonio, and potentially they will need a main striker in that team. I don't think Mikel Antonio is going to be the go-to guy for David Moyes next season. So West Ham, a viable option. Crystal Palace, I will think that they have the money because they have not spent a lot. I'm not really sure how much they have, and I'm not well versed with their budget, but I would say if Arsenal can really agree a deal with Crystal Palace plus a sell-on clause plus a buyback clause, it would also be a very, very good one. Crystal Palace is one of those clubs that I can see spend some 35, 40 million pounds on a player like Florian Balogun just to use him and sell him in the future. RB Leipzig is not a club I know that's really spent these huge amounts of money, but with the money they got in the sale of Dominic Szoboszlai and now selling Josko Gvardiol, they will have some money on the table. I won't be surprised if they come in strong with Florian Balogun. So they have the money, they have the financial muscle, so they really can't sign him. Monaco, Monaco, I'm not really sure with their finances. Lens, no. Lens is out of the option. They might want him on a loan deal potentially, and that is not something we want to do. So for me, it's Monaco, it's Leipzig, it's West Ham, and Inter Milan. They have the money. It's gonna be a bidding war, and Arsenal are definitely going to profit from it. If you love these videos, hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. I'm trying to do shorter videos from 16 minutes to less than 10. So if you love the format, if you love the shorter videos, hit the like button and subscribe at the end of this one. Your predictions in the comment box below. Best Arsenal player. Let me know who's gonna be our best Arsenal player, our top scorer, and where will Arsenal finish in the Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. And I'll speak to you right in the next one.